Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Matt, I am the Americanadian Gamer, and welcome to Magic 101, a beginner's guide to Magic the Gathering. This is going to be a series devoted to teaching new players the basics of the game, like deck archetypes, how combat works, the different formats, and really just how to play the game. Now these videos, they won't have to be watched in any specific order, but I will try to keep some sort of progression to them, and so I figured with the first episode, we'll start with the most basic question: what is Magic the Gathering? Created by Richard Garfield and first published in 1993 by Wizards of the Coast, Magic has gained an incredible following with millions of players and is considered by many to be the quintessential trading card game. And at its most basic, Magic is a trading card game in which two or more players can compete against one another in a variety of different formats. And in most formats, players compete using decks with 60 or more cards to play spells, creatures, and enchantments in order to reduce the life total of their opponent to 0. Now, the main resource of the game are land cards. These cards are used to generate mana that allows you to play other cards. For instance, in order to cast the spell Lightning Bolt, you need 1 red mana, as indicated in the upper right-hand corner. Now, red mana can be generated by a variety of different land cards, but if you don't have access to red mana, you can't play a card that requires it, like Lightning Bolt. Now, mana is separated into 5 colors. There's white, blue, black, red, and green, and each color has its own set of strengths and weaknesses that define it. For instance, green contains a lot of large, powerful creatures and ways to generate mana quickly, but it has no real way of dealing direct damage to an opponent, which forces green players to rely almost entirely on their creatures to win the game. Red, on the other hand, is very aggressive, containing fast but fragile creatures and has a lot of spells that deal direct damage, like the aforementioned Lightning Bolt. But red has a very hard time dealing with enchantments and opponents who gain a lot of health. But players can play more than one color in a deck, so if they wanted the big creatures that green offers as well as the direct damage of red, you could play a deck with red and green cards. And in most formats, there is actually no restriction on this. A player may have a deck consisting of all 5 colors if they wish. Now, we'll get more into the 5 colors, land, and mana in another episode, but for now I hope you get the basic idea. Land generates mana, and mana is used to play cards. And while it's easy to define Magic as a mere card game, to a lot of people it is so much more than that. To me, for instance, Magic is a game that rewards the smart player, someone who knows how to build their deck well, knows when to mulligan, knows how to play the cards that they draw, and knows how to adapt to a wide variety of situations and opponents. And Magic also reminds me a bit of Pokemon in that there is no perfect deck. Now, just like in Pokemon, there's no perfect team, in Magic, there's no perfect deck. Now, granted, there are a lot of really powerful decks out there that are very difficult to beat, but there's always a deck and there's always a player that are capable of beating them, and sometimes that's decided before even the first card is drawn. And no matter how good a deck is, there will be times when you just won't draw the cards you need in order to win a matchup. You just have to accept that sometimes you're going to lose and there's nothing you can do about it. So if you want to learn how to play Magic the Gathering, just stay tuned. We won't be covering any advanced strategies or theory crafting or anything like that. We'll just be covering the basic information that every Magic player needs to know. So, as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. My name is Matt, and I'll see you next time.